Be sure to go to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal and helps support the show. What's up, Planeswalkers? Six back for some more Magic the Gathering Arena. And today, we're, as usual, playing some good old-fashioned Grixis control. I did get a request to do a more classic Grixis list that does not include Fires of Invention, so this is my take on that. I decided I would go a little bit more into the Planeswalker route. You see here I have 13. I usually don't. Usually I just have Bolas, probably around 3 6-drops, and then around 3 3-drops. So I've added in a few there. Additionally, you can see that there's no Fae of Wishes, there's no Fires of Invention. This is meant to be a little bit more of a traditional style that does rely a little bit more on just general instants and sorceries, and just killing things and drawing cards and overpowering your opponent. Whether or not that's going to be what happens remains to be seen. This deck essentially is kind of what I figured I might have to contend with a little bit in this Okoless meta, right? So I'm expecting a decent amount of red and a decent amount of Simic Flash. I'm also expecting a decent amount of Teferi decks, so we'll see exactly how that goes, and all of those things have kind of gotten me to where I am now. We'll see. I'm running 2 Disfigures. Essentially, this is to make sure that I have a decent turn 1 answer to potentially very powerful turn 1 play from any of my aggressive opponents. This works against Knights very well. It works so that maybe on turn 1 I play a tap source. On turn 2 I can play another tap source, like another Shockland or something like that, and kill their 1-drop. Maybe it's or kill their 2-drop, sorry. A Steamkin, a Night Lord, a flashed in Brineman, I don't remember what they're called, but that's kind of why I landed on some Disfigures. Now, notably, this is Disfigure instead of Shock. The reason I prefer Disfigure a little bit is just because it is a minus effect and not a damage effect. Sometimes that matters. Also, we're playing black. We're focused on black. It's a little bit easier on the mana base. For Thought Erasures, we're playing Grixis control. I'm not going to go over Thought Erasure. Tyrant Scorn. It was between Tyrant Scorn, Angrass Rampage, and Lava Coil. All of them had their various merits, and the reason I went with Tyrant Scorn over the others is that Angrass Rampage, although it is able to hit Teferi, Oko is no longer kind of that immediate threat, and Teferi isn't as much of an issue for this deck as Oko was. So I felt that was a little bit less needed to have that. Additionally, with Angrass Rampage against creatures, they get to choose their weakest creature to get rid of, right? So it's always going to be the worst situation for me, so I didn't want that. Lava Coil, on the other hand, is something that has like a guaranteed range, and it's very nice that it exiles. It is also on the single color, you know, it doesn't require that I have both blue and black. It's only a single red pip. But it can only reach a certain point, right? A certain threshold. Now, obviously, Tyrant Scorn is able to kill things up to a certain threshold, but even being able to bounce back something at instant speed is something that is going to help us not die. Even if it is something with haste, if we do it at on combat after they've attacked already, then it's not going to matter as much. So Tyrant Scorn being an instant and being able to deal with larger threats, even if it's not permanently, I think is what gave it the edge for me. 2 Murderous Riders and 2 Bedevils. I'm splitting these up because 1, Murderous Rider is great because it can be a creature, and you can cast it as a spell, blah, 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 blah. It's also technically a little easier to cast, doesn't require the red pip, but you don't get the same value you get from Kefnet as well as Narset. So that is why I decided to go with a bit of a split here. You can get the benefit with Ral, but it's more painful, right? The fact that you lose 2 life is sad, even if you can potentially get that life back. Bedevil has a few benefits. Obviously, I talked a little bit about the fact that it has a red pip. The red pip's going to makes it a little harder to cast, but it can hit artifacts. And now, you might be saying, artifacts, who cares? Embercleave, the Great Henge, the circle thing, all of those are artifacts that could be an issue, right? So that's why I went with a couple of Bedevils as well. Especially since I did get rid of Angrass Rampage, which is one of the things that could have shorn up a little bit of those artifacts. 2 Narsets, down from the usual 3, I think. Narset is great, helps against Teferi decks. The issue is I'm not sure how many draw decks there are going to be. Since this is more or less a blind meta for me, I don't know exactly what I'm looking for, so I wanted to diversify my stocks and bonds. She is still fine, but man. Yeah, whatever. 1 Cry the Canary, 1 Ritual of Soot. I wanted to try and maximize the number of Planeswalkers in the deck as possible. Technically, I could possibly get rid of Kasmina as well, but since I'm running a decent suite of removal, I'm hoping that minimizing my Cries and Rituals aren't going to matter too much, especially considering I run in Disfigure. And now you might be asking kind of like, well, why are you dropping down so much on this? And essentially the reason is, I really don't want to be in a situation where Fires decks, Jeskai Fires, are going to be the predominant deck, and I have too many dead draws, right? This, more or less a dead draw. It can help in certain situations, but these oftentimes are going to be relatively dead. So that's why I went with that. Cry the Canarium, obviously very helpful against all the super aggressive decks. Ritual of Soot can help shore up other things. I will still bemoan the fact that I don't have access to Hour of Devastation in Historic, because that card from that set is just the perfect board wipe spell for a Bolas deck. 1 Saheeli, she is cute, I guess. She essentially is just meant to be in the deck to make extra blockers. I will say I am kind of trying things out with a lot of the configuration here. It is a new meta, frankly. Banning of 3 incredibly dominant cards is something that is going to shake things up, hopefully, quite a bit. Obviously, it could just be Jeskai Fires, mono red aggro, Knights, and big green, and what's the other deck that I'm talking about? I don't know, Flash, Simic Flash, sorry. It could just like be those 5 decks, right? But we'll have to wait and see. She's just okay. 2 Kefnets. I'm running a decent amount of instant sorceries, not a huge amount, but a decent amount, and being able to get free ones, or not free ones, but cheaper ones, or get duplicates, being able to double cast a Thought Erasure is insane. Double Disfigure allows us to remove something with 4 power, right? Double Cry the Canarium, double Ritual of Soot, all of these things, well, not double Ritual of Soot, but double Cry. Being able to even just cast an Enter the God-Eternals, maybe I'm stuck on 4, I get an Enter the God-Eternals off the top, I get to, cast that, and now I have a bit more life to deal with, or to work with. I got a blocker, I got a creature removed, so I really do like Kefnet. She profitably blocks Questing Beast, which is very helpful, of 4/4. Questing Beast obviously does have Death Touch, but Kefnet gets to be able to come back, and that's one of the reasons I really like Kefnet here. He's pretty decent. 3 Keeper's Insight. I have a decent number of instants, more than I have in some variations of the deck, so I figure I'm probably going to be doing some things at instant speed, so Keeper's Insight, helpful, a way to spend my mana if I don't cast anything else. 1 Kasmina. She makes blockers, makes it more annoying for our opponent to cast spells that target our Planeswalkers, and she gives us some card filtering. We'll see if she works. Ral, we get to deal ping damage to Planeswalkers or our opponent, and we get to double cast spells, which is very helpful, as I've already pointed out from Kefnet. Sarkhan plus Ral, just kind of extra Planeswalkers that work really well with what we're doing. Sarkhan obviously gives us some nice blocking damage and threat against the super low to round decks, makes us have a nice way to win the game, and of course Ral has some nice card selection. That -3 is just moi when we're casting so many instant sorceries, and then the -8 we win. Nick Bolas, it's a Bolas deck. These are the 3 that I've had at the top end for a while. This is the mana base. It is a mana base. This is the sideboard. It is fine. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it when we get to the games, because I don't want to spend too much time on the sideboards. Now, I will say, typically, I play practice games. However, I ain't got time for that tonight. None of you saw a thing. That's what beards are for. They catch your lemonade when you spill it. Show and Tell, hilarious name. Let's double check my channel comments, see if anyone has gotten the question right. Nope, no one has no one seems to have gotten it. This hand is fine, actually. We're going second, which is unfortunate. And we don't have anything we can do on turn 1, but we can cast this Narset. Get a blue source. We have a lot of blue blacks. Yeah, I'll keep this. Obviously, if my opponent's on a super aggressive deck, then this is not going to be great. They did mulligan, though. This could be... My assumption is this is going to be Reclamation. Temur Reclamation. Obviously, could be wrong. Could be Grixis. Could... Jeskai Fires. Another thing it could have been. It is now, almost certainly. Tyrant Scorn likely not to help us. Narset is going to be decent this game. We're going to get that blue source. Go ahead and play a Steam Vents down. Yeah, might as well. Next turn we can play out Narsets. And hope to get the ball rolling. I assume it's a Teferi? Yep. They should minus... It's not going to actually matter right now, but... Nope, they decided to plus. That's totally fine. We are going to do this to randomly gain some life here. But now, my opponent's not going to be able to draw. That's a super unfortunate hit there. But I guess it was all lands, so those are lands we're not going to grab. That's nice, I guess. Next turn, we have access to Chemist's Insight at sorcery speed, because of Teferi. It's all good, though. Narset of your own, sure. I can't draw spells now.
Those who cannot meditate and prepare.
Ugin. Scary, for sure. Might as well plus, yep.
Trust me.
Ral. Do like some Ral.
Open mind.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast Ral. Gonna get our Scry on.
Ooh, a battle. I'm all tingly. Or it might just be static. Eureka!
Ritual? Don't want that.
I just realized my total.
Alright, let's see. So unfortunately, we don't have a lot of the tools that we would be looking for
Just the trick for this.
against this control deck. I did... Fires, yep. I did put... Shit, did I actually remember to put an Elder Spell on the sideboard? I think I did. Pretty sure I did. So they can play something for 5 here. Fave Wishes, sure. So they're going to be able to get something. Probably an Elder Spell of their own. Possibly... Well... That was their... Yeah, they haven't actually played. And that's interesting.
Don't worry. I got this.
So because of this, I can't actually use either of these insights, which is pretty trash.
I know exactly what.
Thought Erasure. Sure, I mean, it's going to get shuffled next turn anyway, so... Guess we're going to play this tapped. And pass. Now, for what it's worth, I do believe that the Fires build is better than just going for a more traditional style. However, it's possible that it should be along the lines of the Jeskai build, such that it is focused on being a Planeswalker Fires deck. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're not playing Fires, dude. Hilariously, the change allowed us to counterpick, kind of, because our opponent went for Fae, because the majority of Grixis decks are currently the Fires Fae decks. But yeah, we don't have that. My opponent is right now scoping out what exactly I'm doing, and they're seeing that I'm a normal deck. So let's see what my opponent does here. Sarkhan. That sucks. Because I cannot cast things at instant speed. They should just kill Ral here, I think. Nope. Oh, yeah. I do think they should just kill Ral. They're deciding not to kill Ral. They're instead deciding to be able to draw cards. I think that's fair. I need something good here. I was considering just playing Fave Wishes without Fire's Invention, but I don't think it's necessarily good.
Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
Wow, I'm just drawing complete garbage.
You like the gauntlets? I built them myself.
Jeez. Well, I mean, that's kind of the breaks, you know. I didn't get any of my removal. Oh god, I only brought in one Elder Spell. That sucks. We're definitely bringing the Duress. We're definitely bringing the Elder Spell. The Fries are great. I will go ahead and get Unmoored Ego. I'm going to get the Dreadhorde Butchers. So essentially we get to just pop out anything that only like hits creatures. Let's see. Yep, don't need those, don't need those. Don't really need those. I can probably cut one of these because of who we're up against. And I think this is fine. It does lower our total instant sorcery count by 3. But that shouldn't be too much of an issue. No, now we have more removal. We have Dreadhorde Butcher to really put the pressure on. Elder Spell obviously deals with these dumb planeswalkers. Fry deals with Teferi, essentially. Duress. You know, it's a good old-fashioned control deck. And then, of course, Unmoored Eagle lets us hit fires if we need to. Layla of Anticipation essentially is something I'm curious about. I'm going to see if it works against the flash decks. Try and beat them at their own game. We'll see how it works. I don't know. As I said, this is pretty exploratory. Play first, obviously. This hand is significantly better. We don't have the ability to play Narset on 3, though. So I guess it's not significantly better. That said, it still has that turn 2 Thought Erasure, which is pretty helpful. But yeah, so I'm predicting that this deck isn't going to perform very well at all. A lot of that possibly because of my card choices. However, I do think that it's likely that it's just... okay. Do I Thought Erasure first, or do I Dreadhorde first? I think I'm going to Thought Erase first. Let's see, if I play Dreadhorde, I attack. They're only on 2, and they're on Jeskai color, so I actually think it is better to Butcher now. Yeah, I think it's better to Butcher now. Because they can't play Teferi yet. They might have kept in some sort of like burn that can kill the Dreadhorde Butcher, but I doubt it. My assumption is it's going to be like Shimmer. Yeah, okay, so I'm getting more damage in here. I've got this Thought Erasure to deal with whatever the heck they're going to try next turn. And I have a Thought Erasure after that. Seems decent, my friend. Let's see, Dovin's Veto, I don't care about. Teferi, which they can play, so I'm just going to get the Teferi. They could play Narset, which is... oh, hell yeah. I mean, yeah? Yeah, okay, the reason I'm taking this is because if they choose... oh yeah, they don't have white anyway, so I'm probably still going to be casting Thought Erasure to deal with fires. Dreadhorde's going to kill Narset. I'm going to Thought Erasure away the Fires of Invention, so it's a little bit more difficult for my opponent to outpace me. Chandra's going to come down way too late. I don't think that was the correct play. I think they should have... played the Interplanar Beacon for several reasons. The main one being it would gain them life. I'm going to take the fires here. Do we want the swamp? Sure, I'll take the swamp. And I'm going to go ahead and kill her off.
I have reached my
so, technically right now they have no play. Okay. Next one, they can play Sarkhan and get a Dragon, but I don't... sorry, I don't actually care, because my sweet Dreadhorde Butchers... I fucking love these cards. So I think instead of Insight, I do want to just play Butcher here. The reason I want to play Butcher is because if my opponent goes ahead and plays out... cool. They play out the Sarkhan. I'd have a 5-5 and a 2-2. I attack with both, neither die. If they block the 5-5, they still take... I would attack Sarkhan with it. Sarkhan would die. This would become a 3. If they block the Butcher here, the damage would essentially already be done. Sarkhan would die. His Dragon wouldn't, but I would have sufficient things in the follow-up. Let's see. Is there anything I want to change up now from what I saw? I don't think so. No. And now, now he has to contend with the potential of an early Dreadhorde Butcher, right? I do think I'm just going to throw it back. Throw back the same one. My nails are getting overly long because I haven't... I today started chipping at my nails, and I really shouldn't. I need to, like, take some time out to just actually take the paint off correctly. And then I can actually cut my nails properly. Because they have not been cut in like 3 weeks. And I'm used to cutting them every few days. Alright, so the Jeskai Fires player possibly going to bring in some more early creature removal because they're potentially just super afraid of Butcher. Now, I could have technically taken the Butchers out. However, I do think that they're just actually good in the matchup. Getting their Fires I don't actually think was as impactful. Honestly, just playing a turn 2 Butcher, I think it was what won me the game. The Thought Erasure just kind of sealed it because of the fact I was able to my opponent is taking a while. Because I was able to make sure that my opponent couldn't do anything, right? I kept them stumbling. Did I get rid of a Teferi? I did, didn't I? Yeah, I did. That could have potentially been an issue, but well, no, yeah, it would have been a pretty bad tempo issue. So, no, the Thought Erasure was important. So, let's see. I assume they're gonna go first. Is this the same field we were on a second ago? So, this hand is slow. It's pretty slow. And I'm going second. I don't love it, but I do have access to the mana I need. Yeah, because I had Fabled Passage for an island. Then I'd have access to double blue, double black, and a single red, which is all I need for a while, so. Sure. Not necessarily what I want to see this early. You technically go over there. Okay. Nothing too early is nice. Go and get that. I'll play this first. Let's see what he has for 3. Narset out. Sure. So I'm probably going to end up Saheeli into... I can't really Kazumina. Ugh, yikes. Yeah, that's what I needed to not see, unfortunately.
Today I craft my victory.
Because now they're going to Fires plus something. So I think here I just have to Kefers, and even then, not the best. Are we going to see a Fae? Prison Realm on Saheeli. I guess. It seems a little short-sighted to me, but meh, I guess. Doesn't let them scry. Let's see where they put it. Hopefully they put it right up their bottom. I have fun. Another Narset, sure. Replacement Narsets. Yeah, unfortunately, the Fires just came down too hard. Can Kefnet. I mean, I could Butcher, but like I wouldn't be using my mana very efficiently. Whereas like, well, no, I guess not. Well, no, yeah, like next turn I could get something off of Kefnet and then cast both. Yeah, we'll try the Kefnet. I'm assuming it's gonna die though. And by die, of course, I mean get exiled by something. So I'm probably gonna see removal on Kefnet plus. Okay, that's probably worse. Yeah, it's definitely worse. When they play Bolas, they kill my Kefers. Then I need to top deck and play my Bolas. Like I have to get. Well, no, not necessarily, I suppose. Because if they kill my Kefers, then I can just play Butcher. so I'm fine with that. I will put that on top. Or can I draw lands? I did draw lands. So I can play Bolas, and I can murder his Bolas.
Once again.
The unfortunate bit is I can't draw with Bolas. If I draw land, I can play Chandra. What's really nice about going against a Fire's blue deck is that they cannot counterspell you on your turn. So they essentially give themselves an opposing Teferi, right? Sarkhan, alright, so Nickel's dead.
No sword can pierce my scales.
Yep.
They are coming.
I don't think he meant to pay full price for that. Oh, you should just attack my face. I don't even think you should care about Bolas. Because I already can't draw with him.
My mind.
Yeah, that will put me to 3.
Planeswalker.
I can Bolas, kill this, I'm dead. I can Bolas, kill this, I'm... still alive, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna Bolas, kill that, and I'm technically still alive.
I will remake the multiverse in my image. Your existence is pointless.
But I'm probably going to die. It's only 2 damage. This will probably get you something good. Fair. Uh-oh. Oh, I did it. I pressed the mute button. Okay, I'm still technically alive. I'm in great pain, but I am still alive.
Return.
Something Austin Powers. Who does number 2 work for? I mean, I play Kefers, and I need my opponent to not have a damn thing. But pretty sure my opponent has at least a damn thing. So, very unfortunate. I already have ideas on how I would change this deck. However, I do think that in general the Fires deck is just a stronger version. Being able to cast 2 cards per run is pretty helpful. There could be some middle ground, but I think it's probably better to base the Grixis Fires list on the Jeskai Fires list.
My prowess is unmatched by my peers.
Obviously, you have to tweak things because they have different strengths and weaknesses. But I think in general, that's the way to go. And that is me dead. Yeah, they can just kill Kefnet. So they should minus X on Kefnet. And then attack my face.
Get out of my way. I'm burning up here.
Technically, they could +2. But they should minus
just me, or is it getting a little warm in here?
Technically, I think this, like, obviously I don't have a way in this deck for that to matter, but technically, I think that was a slightly worse play. I'm just not gonna block. I'll accept my death. I knew for a fact that there was nothing I could do. Alright, let's open a pack. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the other cards that I didn't talk about in the sideboard, and then what I think might be a decent thing to do for changing. So, Noxious Grasp is very helpful against those green decks, obviously. Good against any stray white decks running around as well. Ashok is meant to kind of do the same thing as Leyline of Void, and that's deal with cat decks, or any kind of aristocrat-style build that cares about things dying. However, Ashok is good as well against decks that care about having things in the yard over a longer period of time, right? Leyline of the Void doesn't take things out of the yard that are already there. So that's why I kind of had the split. I do think it's probably best, if I'm really worried about Aristocrats decks overall, that you just choose Leyline of the Void. Anticipation is meant to fight the flash decks. Whether or not that is actually helpful, I don't know. But as for this deck, right? I think honestly, I think I would actually try and make the deck a little bit more instant heavy. I might actually try and make this version, this version, include more counter spells. I might have to cut out the Planeswalker sub theme, but I think that's slightly better than just this on a basal level. And honestly, I do think that this version, this Firesless version, is a little bit just less good overall because of the fact that you aren't getting access to 2 spells a turn, right? When you're dealing with other control decks, and they're doing, you know, if it's the Jeskai Fires deck, they're doing 2 spells a turn. Against the Reclamation deck, right? They're doing X number of spells a turn, right? You don't actually know because they're playing stupid things. When you're going against those value decks, you need to be able to maintain parity on like per turn value, and the deck has no issues with card advantage, you know, making sure you have these cards. It is all about how quickly you're able to play them out, right, and get your strategy going. So I think that's why the Fires deck is just better. Even if you're not doing a Fey Fires version, right, if it's just a normal Fires deck, you know, you just have to have Fires of Invention, and the rest of the deck is a normal Grixis deck, right? Maybe you include some counter spells, maybe it's more of a Planeswalker version, or what have you. Hell, you could even just do the full-on Fairy Fires Lucky Clover with more of the adventure cards, right? Include more things like Brazen, more things like what's the damn card called? Not you. Bonecrush Giant, you know, things like that. You might see some success, but I do think that the basal Jeskai Fires skeleton, essentially used as a graft for the Grixis build, I think is probably what is going to be best long term, and I think that's what I'm gonna plan out for next week. I'm probably gonna put the deck together soon, and stream it on Saturday. But yeah, I'm not surprised with these results. I did want to be able to play this normal non-Fires version for the few people who commented about it, but I do think that overall it's not the strongest. And obviously I could have built it better. You know, I'm not a pro deck builder or anything like that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I probably should shut the hell up and let you all be on your way. I'd like to thank my lovely patients. I'm not a doctor yet. Patrons, especially Zen and Furry God, for the continued support. If you'd like to join them and support the show, find links to that down in the description, as well as links to some other really great stuff. You should totally check out my descriptions. I put like the artists' website, so you can see like more art from them, Discord server and all that. It's a great place. My description is descriptive, right? Some of these damn kids and their YouTube channels, they give you like 2 words I'm over here giving you full-on information. Well, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, go and tap that like button, add subscription to your mana pool, cast a comment to the comment section down below, pass the turn in the vid to some of your friends, and of course, until next time, all will be one.